Okay, let's continue. Remember that 1 millimeter equal to 1000 micrometer. Micrometer is much more smaller unit compared with the millimeter. So if you want to calculate this magnification, you should ensure that both of the units are always in the same. So that means you should convert the micrometer, you should convert this millimeter into micrometer. So initially it's like this, right? Because the image size is 60 millimeter over 150 micrometer. So maybe I choose to convert this millimeter become the micrometer, right? So 60 times 1000, I get about 60,000 micrometer over 150 micrometer. So the answers I get will be 400. Okay, this one, 400. So your answer is correct, yeah? 400. Yeah, I think this is my typo, sorry. Okay, so January, correct. Okay, how many joint leg does an insect have? Actually, insect, when you look at the insect, the leg is something like this. This is the head, right? And then this is the leg. Yeah, you can see the cockroach. Okay, so the legs, if they refer to the pairs of the leg, pairs means one pair like this. This is one pair, this is second pair, this is third pair. So generally, insect they have 3 pair of leg, yeah? They have 3 pair of legs. So the answer is B. Okay, this one, characteristic of all organisms, they have they're able to do the excretion and nutrition. So why egestion is not the answer? Because egestions only involved in the removal of the species. This one, species. Yeah, removal of the species only. It does not include other waste material like if excretion, it include in the removal of other waste material as well. Waste material such as urea and also feces and mineral salt and any other else waste material just like carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is also one of the process classified under excretion. So that's why egestion is not characteristic for the organism. And photosynthesis only able to occur in the plant but not an animal. And this one, in all living organisms, there is respirations and the excretion. Okay. For this one, why the answer is boy but not C? Okay. The reason is, you can see. Oh, sorry. You can see in the picture, when they off the light, that means there is no light provided to the pond water. Okay, you can see that the test tube inside they contain the pond water. The pond water inside they contain the something like the algae. Yeah, algae or some plant, which is they able to perform photosynthesis. Because they mentioned that the green color is being caused by the microorganism which they contain chloroplast. So this means they must belong to the organisms, either it's an algae or a plant, which is they're able to perform photosynthesis because they contain chloroplast. So initially, when you don't have the light, when you off the light, the pond water contain the pale green. But after when you on the light for a few hours, the green, okay, the intensity of the green color increase until they become dark green area. And then there's also releasing of the oxygen from the dark green area. So this means that there is photosynthesis happen here. Okay, Ethan Suyam, do you remember how to write the equation for the photosynthesis? Okay, photosynthesis, that means that you absorb what kind of thing? You absorb carbon dioxide or oxygen, which one? Whenever I want to write a photosynthesis equation, so the first thing that I should write is carbon dioxide or oxygen?
Carbon dioxide.
Yes, it's carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, in the chemical formula, it refers CO2. Usually we write on this simplified chemical formula, but not whole word carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide plus water H2O, and it will release the oxygen, and they will synthesis on the glucose. So the glucose, the chemical formula is CH12O6. And then when you want to balance the equations, you should balance in this way, yeah. See, yeah, you can see the left side and the right side. You can see the right side, they have 6 carbon, so you just put 6 in front. And then on the right side, you have totally how many? You have totally 12 oxygen. Okay, so put on this and also this. So this is a balanced equation for the photosynthesis. And also, please remember to add on the light, sunlight, and the chlorophyll on this area. Sunlight and chlorophyll. Remember, it's chlorophyll, not chloroplast. Okay, chlorophyll is a kind of green pigment that are discovered inside the chloroplast. So actually, it's chlorophyll did. Okay, means that it's chlorophyll involved in the process of the photosynthesis, but not the chloroplast. But just the chloroplast, they contain the chlorophyll inside. So we usually mention that the chloroplast able to perform the photosynthesis, but actually it is the chlorophyll component which help to perform the photosynthesis. So I hope you to able to clarify this. So because the oxygen bubble is being released from the green area, that means that there is photosynthesis happen. Photosynthesis is a kind of the nutrition under which one? Autotrophic or heterotrophic? Autotrophic or heterotrophic? Which one? Have a guess. You still remember the meaning for the autotrophic or heterotrophic? You still remember? Come. Have a guess.
Autotrophic.
Yes, correct. It's autotrophic. Autotrophic means they're able to make their own food. Yeah, they're able to make their own food by photosynthesis. So this is synthesis. So this is referred to the plant. Plant able to do this. In human, in animals, we are classified under heterotrophic. So we are heterotrophic. So you can see that nutrition, yeah, is include. So for this one, the answer might be B or C. Okay, however, sensitivity is included in the answer as well, because you can see that after the light on, the green color, they increase in the intensity, become darker and darker. Means that there is the growth of the plant. Yeah. So, and also they are growing towards the light. Okay. You should know that the plant able to perform the photosynthesis, right? So the plant will always grow to the direction of the light. So this is we know as the plant is sensitive towards the light. Okay, I'm not sure you heard of this kind of term before. We call as phototropism. 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 That means that the plant is always grow to the direction of the light. In the next week chapter, we will learn about this phototropism. Okay, it's just about the response. Plant will able to respond toward the direction of the light. So whenever, for example, the plant is initially is grow in this way, right? But when there's a light on the plant in this way, so they will grow to this way, like this. They will always grow to the direction of light. So this is, this means that the plant is always sensitive to the light. So the answer is boy. Okay, it's boy. Yeah. Respiration is not included in this process. Remember the respiration? See, this respiration is not included in this process. Respirations, they refer to the breakdown of the neutron molecule, right? So whenever this is a photosynthesis equations, when you look in the inverted ways, it will become the respiration equation, right? Which is C6H12O6 plus O2, and they will release the CO2 and H2O. This is the we call as aerobic respiration. So respiration does not include in this process shown in the picture. Yeah, it's just only about the nutrition, about the photosynthesis. Okay, so you can see that the plant will absorb the carbon dioxide. They are being excreted by us, by the animal, which is we really don't use the carbon dioxide. But the carbon dioxide is a substance is very useful for the plant. Okay, you can think in this way. Carbon dioxide is considered as a food for the plant together with the water. So this is how the plant able to convert the carbon dioxide and water become something organic molecule like glucose. Yeah, so this is a glucose. This is a glucose. Okay. Oh, my plate is not really sensitive. This is a glucose, yeah? Glucose. This glucose molecule, it is a organic molecule. Organic. It's an organic substance. For this carbon dioxide and water, they are referred to the inorganic substance. Okay. In Huayu, we call as inorganic 无机. Organic means 有机. Yes. So photosynthesis is a process that actually convert the inorganic carbon dioxide and water become an organic compound, which is glucose. So this glucose, which is an organic compound, will be utilized by the animal and the humans. So they're able to use the glucose together with the oxygen. You see, yeah? So inside the glucose, they contains what? They contains the chemical energy. Chemical energy. So they use these oxygens help to break down the neutral molecule, which is the glucose, to release the carbon dioxide, water, and also they will release the ATP energy. Yeah. So this is a relationship between humans and the plant. Okay, between the animal and the plants. Yeah. So we are always related to each other. Okay, so continue. Yeah, for this one. Okay, which label structure could be found in animal cell? Y is corpus. Yeah, it's correct. So X is the membrane. Z is referred to the cell wall. So your answer is Z and W. W is correct. But W is nucleus, right? It's nucleus. Nucleus. Nucleus exists in both animal and the plant cell. Yes. So the answer would be W and the X. Because in animal cell, we don't have the cell wall. Cell wall are only exist in the plant cell. So the answer would be A. Okay, this and both of you get the wrong answer. So what means by tissue? In the level of the cell organizations, level of cell organization, from the most basic unit will be referred to cell, right? Then a group of cells, they will form a tissue. A group of tissue will form a very specific organs. Then organs, few organs, they will combine, they will form a system. So various type of the system, they will combine together and they will form a complete organization. Okay, I mean complete organism. So the question asks you about which refer to the tissue. So the answer will be C. Okay, why is C? Because you can see this C. C is refer to the spongy miscible cell, yeah? This cell is called as spongy mesophyll cell. This is a plant cell. Actually, this structure, they show it is a leaf. I'm not sure you will realize of this or not. This is a leaf actually. So the leaf is comprised of many kind of tissue. So the B is referred to the epidermal cell. Okay, it's referred to the upper epidermis. And here, the cell which located under the epidermis cell, it will be the palisade mesophyll cell. You can see it's a very elongated rectangular cell. So this cell, it is the palisade mesophyll cell. Palisade mesophyll cell. And then C, this cell is referred to the spongy mesophyll cell. Spongy, S-P-O-N-G-Y, mesophyll cell. You can see this picture, they show that C show that a group of cells together. One spongy mesophyll cell, another spongy mesophyll cell, and another spongy mesophyll cell. You see they are being grouped together. So C is referred to, they are the tissue because they are combination of the same type of cell. So what is D? You can see the D is here. It's a pore. Okay, it's a pore exists under the lower epidermis. So do you name what is the name of the D? The D is naming of the stomata. Stomata. Yeah. Stomata is just acting like the nasal pore in the plant, okay? In human, we do have the nasal pore, right? So we do use our nasal pore to inhale the oxygen, exhale the carbon dioxide. In the plant cell, in the plant tissue, they don't have the nasal pore like us. So they only able to use this stomata because this stomata, they are exist in the lower epidermis of the cell. So they will help to absorb absorb the carbon dioxide. Yeah, you see. So whenever the plant, they will absorb the carbon dioxide for the photosynthesis, they will absorb by the stomata pore. So whenever they want to release the carbon dioxide, release the oxygen, and also the oxygen, and also release some water vapor, also going through the stomata. Yeah, so carbon dioxide will intake into the stomata, into inner part of the cell, and also the oxygen will be released out through the stomata to the external environment. So this is the story of stomata. It's mainly for the gaseous exchange, gaseous exchange. So how about the A? You can see A, it refers to the group of the different cell together. No, not different cell, but different tissue together. Because this is one type of the tissue. This is another kind of tissue. And then this is another tissue. So few tissue combined together, they will form a organ. So A is referred to the organ, which is the leaf organ. Leaf is a kind of organ because they are made out of different type of tissue. So, can you get me, Ethan and Suya?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, yeah, and okay, for this one. Root hair cells are found in the plant roots. Actually, root hair cell, I think I did not teach you also. I'm sorry about that. I did not teach you. Okay, so this is the plant roots. And then the plant root, they do have the root hair cell. It looks something like this. Okay, just like the people pointing a third finger to you. Okay, it's quite funny. So this root hair cell, they are exist on the roots of the plant. It's just something like this. For example, this is the roots of the plant, right? This is the roots. This is a branching of their roots. So the root hair cell is referred to here. You can see here. This is a root hair cell. So the root hair cell, they do not have. Okay, you should know that root hair cell is a type of plant cell. root hair cell is plant cell. They are plant cell. Plant cell means they do have the cell wall and vacuole. However, root hair cell, they do not contain chloroplast. They don't have chloroplast. Surprisingly, right? Yeah, because root hair cell, they no need carry out photosynthesis. So, which feature are present in the root hair cell but not in the sperm cell? So the chloroplast is not a good answer because root hair cell and sperm cell both they do not have the chloroplast, even though the root hair cell is a plant cell. So the answer would be B because root hair cell they do contain the cell wall, which is cell wall is not exist in the sperm cell. Okay, so please take note that in the plant cell, there are only 3 types of plant cell they do have the chloroplast. Okay, which is this one. Only 3 types of plant cell they do have chloroplast, and majority of the plant cell located at the leaf, they have the chloroplast, which is the first one, Palisade mesophyll cell. They have it. And then second one, spongy mesophyll cell. They have the chloroplast. And then the stomata, they also have the chloroplast. Okay, why? Because chloroplast able to perform the photosynthesis, right? So that means that they must be located in the certain place which is they able exposed to the light, to the sunlight. Yeah, so Palisade mesophyll cell, spongy mesophyll cell, and stomata, they are both able to discover in the leaf part, which is they able to get the sunlight. So these 3 cells contain the chloroplast, but their number is varies. Yeah, the Palisade mesophyll cell contain the most number of chloroplasts. Means that they contain the highest number of chloroplasts for the Palisade mesophyll cell. See, highest number of chloroplasts, highest number of the chloroplasts. So for the spongy mesophyll cell, they just contain a very moderate number of chloroplasts. And then the stomata, they contain a very least, that means 最少的, okay? Least number of chloroplasts. Yeah, so that's the difference between them. 3 of the cell contain the chloroplast. Just the number is varies among them. Yeah, I think that's all for the discussion. Okay, let me check. Okay, for this one, yeah, this one your answer is correct because, oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. Okay, for the most leg to those with the fewer leg. So the most leg is myopod, okay? They have about maybe at least 20 pair of the legs. Crustacean will be more than 10 pair. Arnid will be 8 pairs. 8 pairs. Insect will be 3 pair of the legs. Okay, so that's all about the discussion for today. Okay, so let's continue on the chapter last week. Chapter 2.1, okay? Please open your chapter 2.1 notes. So if ready, let me know, yeah? Okay, have you opened your chapter 2.1 notes?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So last week we discussed about the cell, okay? So I hope that you are clear about the structure of the cell, which is, this is the cell. Then the cell, they have the nucleus. So inside the nucleus, they have the nucleus. Nucleus. And inside the nucleus, they do have the genetic material, which is the, what is this? This is known as chromatin. Chromatin is referred to the DNA. chromatin. This whole thing is a nucleus, yeah? This whole thing is a nucleus. Nucleus. Then this is the nucleus. Nucleus. Where's my pencil? Okay, sorry. Oh. Okay, nucleus. Nucleus is a component that are found inside the nucleus, yeah? So whenever we talk about nucleus, we are include everything, include the nucleus and also the chromatin. And then please remember that nucleus is comprised of double layer, like this. It's the double layer membrane. And then there's a nuclear pore. Okay, so we finished talking about nucleus. Okay, nucleus, the two function of the nucleus is, first, they contain the genetic material. Contain the genetic material, which is the DNA or RNA. Or you can write, they contain genetic material such as the DNA or the chromatin. Secondly, they control the cellular activity. Yeah, so nucleus is just like the king of the cell because nucleus will ask the cell to do everything. Okay, so the cell need to listen to the commander from the nucleus. Yeah, so that's all about nucleus. And then last week, we also learned about the any other organelle. We also learned about the cytoplasm. Yeah, cytoplasm is outside the nucleus. This is the cytoplasm, yeah. So cytoplasm is just like the fluid filled cavity found inside the cell. Okay, you can imagine that inside the cell there's a lot of fluid. Cytoplasm. So this is cytoplasm. Is the fluid filled cavity. So most of the biochemical process they are happen inside the cytoplasm. Yeah. And also, we learn about the endoplasmic reticulum. So this nuclear membrane, whenever they are extend to outside, they will form something like this. Okay. Sorry that I can't draw a very good drawing for you. Okay. So this is we know as the endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum. So endoplasmic reticulum contain of how many type? 1 type, 2 type, 3 type, 4 type. How many type of the endoplasmic reticulum? How many type?
2.
Yes. The answer is there is 2 type. Yeah, there's 2 type of endoplasmic reticulum. One is rough. We call as RER. Rough endoplasmic reticulum. Another one is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. We call as SER. So rough endoplasmic reticulum, because it do contain the ribosome attached on it. It do contain the bound ribosome, yeah. This one. It do have the bound ribosome. Bound ribosome attached on it. Bound ribosome. BOUND. So they stay around here. Here, can see? Just like your face got a lot of pimple. Okay. Yeah. See the pimple here. Yeah. So the function of the RER is they help to function. Function means function I will draw as FX. That means function. Function that means that they will help to transport the proteins. Okay, they will help to transport the protein synthesis by Synthesis by ribosome. To where? To Golgi apparatus. Yeah. And also, okay, for the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, it's very smooth, right? You can see their surface. They don't have the ribosome attached to their surface. So because it's smooth, their function is they help in the synthesis of the lipid. And also they help in detoxification. 解毒. Because sometimes we will consume the drug, which is they may be toxic to our body, right? So this smooth endoplasmic reticulum, they will help in the detoxification. So they are discover a large number in the liver cell. Means that in the liver cell, we do have a lot of smooth endoplasmic reticulum because they can help to carry out detoxification in the liver. Because the function of liver, okay, one of the function of liver is detoxification. Detoxification means they will convert some toxic become non-toxic. Okay, so we finished about story for the endoplasmic reticulum, and then we also talk about the ribosome. Where is the ribosome here? Ribosome is just scattered around it. Yeah, ribosome. Okay, there's two types of ribosome. One is free ribosome. They are scattered around the cytoplasm, and also bound ribosome, which is they bind to the surface of the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So the ribosome, the function, they just synthesis protein. That's all. They just help in the protein synthesis. So after they synthesize protein, the protein will be carried out by the rough endoplasmic reticulum until they will reach the Golgi apparatus. And then we also talk about the Golgi apparatus, okay? Golgi apparatus, let me check. Last week we discussed it or not? I'm not sure. I think we haven't discussed it. Okay. Yeah, I think we haven't discussed it. Okay, so generally it's all about this for the last week. So okay, now we continue on to discuss on the other organelle, which is the mitochondria. Okay, mitochondria is a very, very important organelle that you should always remember in your brain, because mitochondria involved in the cellular aerobic respiration. This one, see? Okay, whenever the question asks about state the function of mitochondria, so you can write that is the site where the cellular aerobic respiration occur. The cellular aerobic respiration is referred to the, just now I have wrote the answer, which is the glucose plus oxygen, and they will release the carbon dioxide, water, and also the ATP energy. This is the first one. Secondly, they will generate ATP energy for all the cell by oxidation of the glucose. So this is what they did. Okay, maybe I can draw the equation again. Yeah, which is this one. CH12O6 plus O2, and then we release the carbon dioxide, water, and also the energy. Yeah, energy. ATP energy. Okay, and then you should know that this is a glucose, right? Glucose are being break down by the oxygen to release energy, to the cell. Because cell require energy to perform their cellular activity. Just like in human, we need money to live on, right? To buy all the things. So energy is referred to the money being used by the cell to do their cellular activity. Yeah. Okay, so this glucose, whenever they are being break down by the oxygens, okay, this is known as oxidation of the glucose, because glucose combined with the oxygen. See, oxidation of the glucose. Okay, so after we know about the function of organelle, so let us study about the structure. Structure is also very important for the mitochondria. Yeah? So mitochondria is a, okay, you can see how many membrane inside the mitochondria. Is a single membrane or is a double membrane? It is a single or it's a double membrane. Which one? Adam and Suya. You look at the structure. It's a single membrane or it's a double membrane. How many membrane exist inside the mitochondria? How many membrane?
Just 2.
Yes, it's 2. See? Yeah, you can see. This is when they view the mitochondria under the, we call as transmission electron microscope, which is much more advanced microscope with a higher resolution power. So you're able to see the mitochondria in such a detailed structure. So they have 2 membrane. Okay, so it's a double membrane. Double membrane, which is the very smooth outer membrane outside and a slightly folded inner membrane. Yeah, see, you have the very smooth outer membrane, but you have a highly folded inner membrane. You can see that the membrane inside the mitochondria, which is the inner membrane, is very highly folded. You see, just fold like this. Yeah. So this highly folded inner membrane, we actually call as highly folded inner membrane. They have a name. The name is they call as cristae. Cristae, which is this one. Cristae. So cristae. Cristae is referred to the highly folded inner membrane inside the mitochondria. And then the content inside the inner membrane is called as a matrix. Okay, so matrix is just like the fluid cavity inside the inner membrane of the mitochondria. So matrix is just like the contents of the mitochondria itself. Okay, so actually mitochondria inside of the matrix, there's a lot of enzyme catalyzed reaction take place. Okay, so mitochondria itself, they do have the enzyme catalyzed reaction. Just that in IGCSE level, we did not learn about the what specific enzyme catalyzed reactions occurs inside the mitochondria. We just learned that mitochondria able to carry out the cellular aerobic respiration. That's all. So, but the cellular aerobic respiration is actually a kind of the enzyme reaction. You see this one. This cellular aerobic respiration actually is carried out by the enzyme. Okay, so they're able to help to break down the glucose together with the oxygen to release ATP energy. Actually, this is catalyzed by enzyme. So it's an enzyme catalyzed reaction. Catalyzed reaction. So that means the temperature will affect the mitochondria function also. Okay, because temperature will affect the enzyme. So when the enzyme is being denatured, they are unable to carry out the cellular aerobic respiration. So this is just for your extra information. So mitochondria generally is a kind of very important organelle. They are found on the cytoplasm itself. Okay, so why mitochondria? They should have a highly folded inner membrane. Sometimes question they might ask you. They might ask you this. Okay, why? Maybe I can write down here. Question. Why mitochondria contains a highly folded inner membrane? So the answer is to increase surface area, to increase the total surface area for cellular aerobic respiration to occur. Yeah, this is the answer. Okay, because if the membrane becomes highly folded, you're able to allocate with more enzyme. So it will increase the rate for the aerobic respiration. And then secondly, why do cells with the high rate of the metabolism need a lot of mitochondria? Sometimes some specific cell, they do carry out very high rate of metabolism. So the cell, they need to contain a lot of mitochondria, because the high rate of metabolism means that the cell, they need a lot of energy. Okay, the cell need a lot of energy because they have the very high rate of metabolism. So the energy will be only provided by the mitochondria. So that's why they need a very large amount of mitochondria. For example, sperm. Okay, sperm cell. Sperm cell, they are always moving, swimming. So there's a lot of mitochondria also inside the sperm cell. And then, yeah, any kind of the cell. Okay, so this is just for your information. So yeah, this is your answer. Whenever the question, whenever the exam asks you this kind of question, this is the answer that you should write. Cell with the high rate of metabolism will have a higher mitochondria because they need higher demand for energy. Third, mitochondria able to provide them with energy. Yeah, so that's the answer. Okay, so we already learned about mitochondria. So please memorize, not really memorize, but please understand about structure of mitochondria, and please always know how mitochondria look like. Okay, this image also very important because sometimes it will come out in IGCSE paper 4. Okay, later we'll try some question. Okay, and then we talk about the cell wall. Cell wall is only exists in the plant. Okay, cell wall is considered is an organelle found only in the plant, but not in the animal. So cell wall, they refer to this outer structure, this one. Yeah. Okay, the function of cell wall is they want to give extra support to maintain the shape of the plant cell. Maintain the shape of the plant cell. And cell wall, they also melt all the cellulose and they're able to surround the cell membrane in the plant cell. You can see cell wall in the plant cell always surround the cell membrane because cell membrane they are found in this. Cell membrane is located in the inner part of the cell. This is the cell membrane. The outer part is the cell wall. So cellulose is a kind of structure which is they are usually found in the vegetable. Cellulose in why we call as 纤维, fiber. Okay, so for your information, cell wall is actually very rigid. Rigid means what? It's very tough. Okay, not easily being broken down. Okay, Ethan and Suyang, I ask you, cell wall compared with the cell membrane, which one look more harder and tougher? Which one, cell wall or cell membrane?
Cell wall.
Yes. Okay, cell wall is much more tougher and rigid compared with the cell membrane. Maybe I can show you this picture. Yeah. Okay, later. So now we talk about the vacuole. Vacuole also contains inside the plant cell only. Yeah, so this is a plant cell. Okay, you can always you can always observe the plant cell appear in this kind of way. You can see this is a vacuole, right? Vacuole are found inside here. This is a very large vacuole. Wow, so large. This is a very large centralized vacuole until they press the nucleus to the periphery area. So this is a very large central vacuole in plant cell. So why do the plants must have the vacuole? So because the vacuole contains the water and mineral iron inside it. Just imagine that vacuole is just like a bag. Inside the bag, they are filled with a lot of water, iron, cell sap. Okay, so they contain the cell sap. They also are sites for the storage for the certain mineral, just like the sodium chloride. And vacuole, they are able to help to absorb water to provide the turgidity to the plant cell. What is meant by turgidity? Turgidity means the hardness of the plant cell. Okay, in Chinese, we call it as 细胞的硬度细胞的硬度 Okay, that means that the rigidity of the plant cell. Because in the plant cell, especially in plant we do not have the backbone able to support the plant, right? Okay, plant cell is just, plant cell is not like human or animal cell. In human, just like in us, we have the backbone to support us, right? You can touch your backbone, your vertebrae, which is beside your back. Okay, so this backbone support us. We can standing straight up due to the backbone support us. But in plant cell, we do not have the vertebrae backbone support the plant. So the plant cell, they only able to use the vacuole to support themselves. So how vacuole able to support themselves is whenever the plant cell absorb the water. So every day you must water the plant. If you did not water the plant will die very quickly. They will wilt and die, right? So why you need to water your plant every day? Because the plant cell, they will absorb the water. Okay, after they absorb water, they will store inside vacuole of the plant cell. So whenever the vacuole of the plant cell are being stored with a lot of water, they will become very turgid. So it's just something like this. I draw a cell to you, a plant cell to you. Okay, this is the plant cell. It's a rectangular in shape. Yeah, this is a plant cell. I draw a turgid plant cell to you. Okay, so the outer part is the cell wall, right? Cell wall. The inner part is referred to the cell membrane. And then whenever the plant cell absorb a lot of water and they store in their vacuole, so the vacuole will expand like this. Wow, very large. And then the nucleus are being pressed by the vacuole to periphery area. Okay, so this is a vacuole. Vacuole will expand when they absorb water. And then they will pressing against the cell wall, create turgor pressure. Turgor pressure refer to turgidity in the plant. So this is how the plant able to stand up, because they have the turgor pressure. They have this turgor pressure to support them. So this we call as turgid plant cell. But when the plant lose water, for example, if you didn't water your plant for about 1 week, so your plant cell will be appear in this way. They are still maintained with the rectangular shape because the cell wall is too rigid. Okay, cell wall able to resist any change applied on it. Though it's a very hard structure, right? However, it will appear in this way. Okay, this is the, you can see? Yeah. This is the stringent vacuole. This is a vacuole. Then this is the nucleus. So this is the cell wall. This is the cell membrane. You can see the cell membrane, they are pulled away from the cell wall. Cell membrane pull away from the cell wall already because they lost their turgidity. And then you can see the vacuole, they are shrinking in their size. So this is called as a flaccid plant cell. Due to it lost water. Because it lost turgidity. So when it lost the turgidity, the vacuole, vacuole will shrink in size. And then you can imagine that cell membrane pull away from cell wall. Yeah, so this is different between them. Okay, sometimes the exam they will ask you write this kind of diagram. Yeah, so for you to know. Okay, turgid cell, flaccid cell. Okay, another one thing very important for the cell wall characteristic is cell wall is fully permeable to any solution. Please write down that cell wall is fully permeable to every solution. Fully permeable means that they enable any kind of solutions able to diffuse and get into it. See? So take for example, whenever the cell membrane they are pulled away from the cell wall, they will create a space at here, right? Here. There's a space, right? Space. Oh, sorry. Space. Yeah. There's space at here, here, here. Okay, whenever there's a solution outside the plant cell. Oh. For example, the solution, they might be solution X, for example. These solutions, they're able to diffuse into the cell wall until they get into here, like this. Sometimes the question they were asking this kind of question, yeah, the exam. Okay, so they will ask you, okay, what is the solution that discover inside here? You should know that the solution is just same with the outside solution because the solution X already diffused into the cell wall. Why they diffuse in the cell wall? Because cell wall is fully permeable. They can allow any kind of solution to diffuse inside. The characteristic is not appear like the cell membrane. In the cell membrane is selectively permeable. Okay, cell membrane is always selectively permeable or partial permeable. Oh my god. Sorry. Cell membrane is selectively permeable. Selectively permeable means that they are choosing certain molecule of iron diffuse inside of it. Not all, but just certain. Okay, which is they're able to meet their requirement. For example, it's very small or it's not, it is non-polar. Only certain molecule, only certain particle able to diffuse inside. However, in the cell wall is fully permeable. So allow any kind of solution. So this is the difference between the cell membrane and also the cell wall. Do you clear about it, Ethan and Suya? Are you clear?
Yep.
Okay. Remember this, selectively permeable and the fully permeable. So you just remember that vacuole is just a kind of vesicle. What does it mean by vesicle? Vesicle is just like a small bag. Okay, you just imagine vesicle is just something like your plastic bag. Okay, inside the vesicle they can carry a lot of things. So it's just a very large vesicle. They take up majority of the space inside the plant cell. Okay, so now we talk about vesicle. What is actually vesicle? Okay, you check about this picture. You can see this is the nucleus, right? This is the nucleus, and then the nucleus outside, they are being surrounded by the nuclear envelope or nuclear membrane. And then they are continuous to the endoplasmic reticulum here. See, from the nuclear membrane, they are continuous to the endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, just now I had told you about the proteins, the transport of the proteins from ribosomes to endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, for example, here's a ribosome on it. So after the rough endoplasmic reticulum, okay, the ribosome produce a protein. Maybe I can write here, okay. Whenever the ribosome produce a protein, they will be transported by RER to Golgi apparatus. This is how they transport. You can see this is a very small vesicle, right? This vesicle is being released from the endovascular reticulum, and then they are traveled by a very large distance until they will reach the Golgi apparatus, right? They will reach Golgi apparatus. Can you see this vesicle? Yeah. So the vesicle in this, in this way, when they transfer from the, when they're being transported from the endovascular reticulum until they reach the Golgi apparatus, they are called as transport vesicle. Okay, you can write down by yourself. This one, during the distance between the endovascular reticulum and the Golgi apparatus, the vesicle is called as transport vesicle. Transport. So inside the transport vesicle, they carry the protein to Golgi apparatus. So why they need to do like this? Because Golgi apparatus is a very important organelle, which is they help in the function of Golgi apparatus. Yeah, function of the Golgi apparatus is they will help to process, package, and modify protein product. Okay, for example, from protein become glycoprotein. Okay, because you must know that once the ribosome produce the protein, right? So the protein will enter into the RER. See, once the ribosome they synthesis the proteins, so the protein is just like the raw material. It's just like the rice haven't cooked rice, raw rice. Okay, you cannot eat the rice haven't cooked, right? So ribosome produce the raw protein. So the raw protein will be transported by the rough endovascular reticulum to reach the Golgi apparatus by transport vesicle. So inside the transport vesicle, they contain the raw material, the raw protein, until they reach the Golgi apparatus. So the Golgi apparatus is just like a factory. Golgi apparatus is looking at a factory, yeah, because they help to package, process, modify the raw protein product into something useful substance. Okay, the function of Golgi apparatus is they try to modify the product, become something very useful to your body. For example, glycoprotein or glycolipid, or any kind of protein product like enzyme and also antibody. So whenever the protein product being released from the Golgi apparatus, that means that the product can be fully used by the body. Okay. So you know the difference between the raw protein and the actual protein product, right? Only the actual protein product, which is this I circle to you, can be used by the protein. If only protein, which is a raw material, they are unable to use by the protein, used by the body. So the Golgi apparatus need to modify first. So Golgi apparatus is just acting like a factory. Factory, they help to package something to become a very useful product. So after that, the Golgi apparatus, they will transport the product into secretory vesicle. So now they are called as secretory vesicle, another name. And then this secretory vesicle will fuse with the membrane of cell and release to outside. Yeah, the end of the story. Okay, you can see that here is the transport vesicle at here. This is transport vesicle here. First one. Then second one will be the secondary vesicle at here. And then the secondary vesicle, they will fuse with the membrane of the cell and release the product to outside. Extracellular space. Okay, so this is the process of the protein. Okay, so it's just looking like this. Oh, you can see from the vesicle. So actually, vesicle, it just contains a very simple structure on it. It just like, yeah, just something like this. It just comprised of the two layers of the phospholipid layer with the hydrophobic tail inside and the hydrophilic head outside. Yeah, inside here is the hydrophobic tail. Inside here is what? Hydrophobic tail. What is meant by hydrophobic? Hydrophobic means they love water or they hate water. Hydrophobic means they love water or they hate water. Which one?
They hate water.
Yeah, they hate the water. Okay, usually hydrophobic means that they are hydrophobic. For your information, hydrophobic, they hate water, right? They hate water because they unable to dissolve in the water. So whenever they are unable to dissolve in water, that means they are usually lipid soluble. They dissolve in the oil but not water. So they are hydrophobic. They are usually lipid soluble substance. For the hydrophilic head outside, this one, hydrophilic head means they love the water. Love water. Love water means they able to dissolve in water. Okay, so they dissolve in water means that they are usually a polar substance. So this is the vesicle. Okay, so vesicle is a very small circular structure made up from the phospholipid bilayer and moving throughout the cytoplasm. So they just want to transport the substance, okay, out to the cell. Yeah, from one part of the cell to another. This is the vesicle. Then for the last one, we learn about the chloroplast. Chloroplast is also only found inside the plant cell only, which is that three plant cell: Palisade mesophyll, spongy mesophyll, and also the stomata. Only the three plant cell got the chloroplast. Three plant cell contain the chloroplast, which is the Palisade mesophyll cell. This is most of the number. Okay, and the spongy mesophyll cell, which is a moderate number. Moderate. And the stomata, which is the least number of the chloroplast being contained inside. So let's have a look on the structure of the chloroplast. It looks very complex, right? But actually it's not complex. Okay, you follow me, draw. Chloroplast, it just look like this. Okay, this is the chloroplast. Chloroplast also a double layer membrane. And then you just draw something like this. Have you eaten pancake before? Now I'm drawing the pancake. You can see, yeah, pancake. 1, 2, 3 pancake. Yeah. And then attach to another pancake. attached to another pancake. Yeah. So this pancake, when we call about one piece of pancake, it's just one piece, yeah. It refers to the thylakoid. Thylakoid membrane. Just one piece of pancake. When you group the pancake together, they will know as a stack of the thylakoid membrane, this one. They call as granum. Which is, they refer to the stack of thylakoid membrane. Okay, you can think like this. Granum, G means group, a group of the thylakoid membrane. So they call as granum. Just think it this way. And then inside here, there's a lot of like solution. This is a fluid, fluid. So this fluid is called as the stroma. Stroma. Okay. Yeah. See? Stroma, thylakoid, granum, and now the outer and inner membrane. Yeah. This is the inner membrane. This is the outer membrane. Okay, you can see that the corpus, they do contain double layer membrane, just that the inner membrane is not being folded. Not like mitochondria. Mitochondria, the inner membrane is highly folded. Okay, so when you view under the electron microscope, will be appear in this structure. You can see the granum. Granum means a stack of thylakoid. This is a stroma, yeah, and the double membrane. So corpus, they do contain the chlorophyll, which is a photosynthetic pigment found inside the corpus. They just I mean, if you want, if you ask me where does the chlorophyll locate, it locates somewhere else at here. It's somewhere else at here. Okay, so the corpus, they do contain the chlorophyll, which is a photosynthetic pigment, and also the photosynthetic enzyme, just like in mitochondria. They also have the enzyme inside the matrix of the mitochondria, because photosynthesis is a kind of the enzyme catalyzed reaction. And because the presence of the chlorophyll, which is a pigment, so the corpus will appear in the very green color, yeah, green color. So the function is they want to trap the sunlight to convert the light energy into the chemical energy during the photosynthesis, yeah. See, from the light to the chemical. Chemical means what? Because they synthesis glucose from carbon dioxide, water, together with sunlight. Because the glucose, they do store chemical energy. Okay, so we complete learning about the organelles for this chapter. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me go back to the picture to have a recap. Yeah. Sorry. Oh. Okay. So please remember about these two structures. One is animal cell, one is plant cell. Okay. Although exam, they did not ask you to. They do not ask you really to draw a animal cell or plant cell with a very detailed organelle inside, but you should know, okay? Because they always come out in the exam. You can see this is the nucleus, and then endoplasmic reticulum with the rough and the smooth ER. This is the RER, this is the smooth ER, and then outside it will be the ribosome scattered outside. And then this one is the Golgi apparatus. I'm not sure, but whenever you look at this Golgi apparatus, does it look like the Wi-Fi symbol? This one, Wi-Fi symbol. So Wi-Fi stands for Google. So Golgi, G stand for Google. Okay, recognize your Golgi apparatus. And also recognize the structure of the mitochondria. Mitochondria, if I want to draw, I draw in this way. Okay, remember there's a double membrane and then inside like this. This could be the simplest form for the mitochondria. And then for the animal cell, they only contain the cell membrane. And also they have the lysosome. Lysosome. Lysosome is a kind of organelle which they do contain the hydrolytic enzyme. Lysosome contain hydrolytic enzyme. Hydrolytic. And for the plant cell, also same. Both have the nucleus. Both have the ribosome also. Golgi, smoothly are mitochondria. Just that plant cell, they only have the vacuole, cell wall, and corpus tree structure. So those three components does not exist in the animal cell. Yeah, so that's the difference between them. Plant cell is always in the rectangular fit shape because the cell wall is very strong, able to maintain the shape of the plant cell, not like the cell membrane. Okay, so this is about the chapter 2, the first part, chapter 2. Okay, now let's study of the microscope. I guess in your school, you only encounter this kind of microscope, which is a light microscope. It's very cheap. Okay, for the transmission electron microscope, you can see, wow, so huge. Transmission electron microscope, they only exist in the university or the research center, which is they require the research of some cell, yeah. So they will purchase this kind of very expensive electron microscope because they need to study a very detailed structure for the cell, for the organelle. So the difference between them for the light and for the microscope and the electron microscope is you can see the structure. I mean, you can see the image. In the light microscope, the image is appear in the 2D. 2D, right? You can see. Yeah. In the electron microscope, the image will appear in the 3D structure. Yeah. Okay. So in the light microscope, usually what you can view under light microscope is you're able to view the nucleus, cytoplasm, and cell membrane, and also the cell wall. Just these four structures generally. However, in the electron microscope, which is able to give you a more detailed image, so you can view on the smaller organelle, which is the vacuole, mitochondria, and the vascular reticulum. Yeah, ribosome. That's all. Yeah. Okay. Another thing that you should know, you should understand is whenever we talk about the organelle, they also have their own weight. Okay. So from the heaviest organelle to lightest or smallest organelle. The heaviest and largest organelle is referred to nucleus. Okay, nucleus is the most heaviest and the largest organelle inside the cell. And then for the smallest organelle and the lightest is very, very light. It's referred to the ribosome. Okay, your ribosome is very, very small. You can see ribosome cannot be viewed under light microscope. You cannot see it because it's too small for you. But under the electron microscope, which is they have very high resolution power, you're able to look at the ribosome. Okay, so it's too small, only able to view under high resolution electron microscope. And then for the organelle, okay, we know there's a double membrane organelle. The double membrane organelle means that they do contain the inner and outer membrane. So it is referred to the nucleus. And also mitochondria. Remember that mitochondria, they do have the highly folded inner membrane. Highly folded inner membrane. And also they have the chloroplast. Yeah. So other organelles, they do have the single membrane, just like the endoplasmic reticulum, lysosome. Okay, but you should know, double membrane is exists in just 3 organelles only. They have the double membrane. Yeah. So you can see when you look under the light microscope, compare with the electron microscope, the light microscope, you only can see the nucleus. Nucleus is very big and large, so you can see it. And the outline, which is the cytoplasm and also the cell membrane. But in the electron microscope, you can see the vacuole, chloroplast. Yeah, it's much more detailed. See, it's very detailed when you look under the electron microscope. You can see the other organelle and also the small ribosome. Yeah, so this is different between them. Okay. Sometimes question they will ask you, when the plant cell view under light microscope, what can you see? You can see cell membrane, cell wall, vacuole, cytoplasm, and chloroplast. Yeah, because chloroplast is very big organelle. It's much more bigger than mitochondria. Vacuole is, you can see, because vacuole is very enlarged and very big. Oh. Okay. So the difference between the animal cell and the plant cell is the animal cell, they do not have the fixed shape because they do not contain the cell wall to support their shape. However, the plant cell, they have the fixed shape because they have the cell wall to maintain their shape. Yeah. So animal cell, they do not have the chloroplast. Plant cell, they do have the chloroplast. And also plant cell, they have a large central vacuole. But animal cell, they do not have vacuole. However, animal cell, they do contain the vesicle or small vacuole. Vesicle is referred to the transport vesicle and the secondary vesicle. Transport vesicle and the secondary vesicle. Okay, so let's try a question. Okay, a list of subcellular structure is given below: nucleus, ribosome, vacuole, chloroplast. So the plant cell and the animal cell, they are observed under the light microscope. So which of the structures are always being visible in the plant cell? Which one? Under light microscope, yeah. What you can see under light microscope for the plant cell? And then Zuyang, have a guess on the answer? You can see nucleus or not? Can you see nucleus? Can you? Can?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see nucleus. Nucleus is the largest and it's the heaviest organelle. Can you see ribosome?
No.
Can you see ribosome? Cannot, right? Because ribosome is very small, very tiny. Okay, it's a very tiny organelle. You can write in the description. Tiny, smallest organelle. Can you see vacuole? Can you see? You can see vacuole. Chloroplast, yeah, you can see chloroplast also. So the answer is 1, 3, and 4. Boy. Okay, so that's all about it. We still left 10 minutes now. I guess we can try on a question. Because I haven't finished this, chapter, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Whenever you end the class, when you do about revision, please have a look on this quiz card for the chapter 2. Okay, I already summarized, I already do a summary for you for the important point. You can see, yeah. For today, it will be this one. Yeah, here. See, the function of mitochondria is to release energy by breaking down the neutral molecule in the aerobic respiration. The chloroplast will be the photosynthesis take place and they store the starch. Okay, they store the starch. Ribosome will be synthesis of the protein. And the vacuole will be storing the cell sap, such as the water, mineral salt, or sugars, and also to help to maintain the plant cell shape. Yeah. The rough endoplasmic reticulum is they help to transport protein. See, they transport protein made by the ribosome to Golgi apparatus for packaging. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that's all about the today. I think we can try one question for the chapter 4. I mean, no, for the paper 4. Yeah. We can have a try on this question. Okay. So the A. A means what? A is referred to which structure? A. This is a plant cell, right? This is a plant cell. A is this.
Cell wall.
Yeah, it's a cell wall. Definitely it's cell wall. Okay. Cell wall. How about B? B
Nucleus.
is
Vacuole.
vacuole. Correct. Vacuole. Nucleus is at here. This is nucleus. C is nucleus. This is the actual IGCSE exam, which is you are going to taking it next year. So B is a vacuole. Vacuole is much more larger than the nucleus. Then how about G? How about G? G is,
Cytoplasm.
yes, correct. G is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. Then how about F? F is here, inner.
Cell membrane.
Yes, cell membrane, correct. Okay, F is a cell membrane. And then E. E is the, looking like what kind of structure? E. E look like what kind of structure? E is the organelle which carry out. You can see pancake. You can see pancake inside. Pancake is referred to which one? You like to eat pancake?
Chloroplast.
Yeah, it's a chloroplast. Yeah, it's a chloroplast. Okay. Then how about D? How about D?
Mitochondria.
Yes. Okay. Good. Okay, that means you really pay attention in your class. Yeah, so this is the IGCSE exam will ask in this way. Okay, so the function of the nucleus is, you can say they will store genetic material and they control cellular activity, because it's just like a king for the country. The nucleus is just like a king for the country, because they will they will ask you to do anything they want to do. The corpus is, there's a site of photosynthesis. Yeah. And the aerobic respiration is being carried inside the mitochondria. Yeah. Then condense cell sap and store water is referred to the vacuole. Then what is A? A is referred to cell wall. Yeah. So cell wall is to, what does cell wall do? What does cell wall do? Cell wall?
Provide support and the structure of the cell.
Yes. Support the structure of the cell. Can support the cell. Okay, it's better you can write support the plant cell. Or you can say maintain. They help to maintain the shape of plant cell. It will be better answer. So it's just writing about the keyword for the answer only. Okay. Okay, I think you can go back, try by yourself for this question. What's the time now? Oh, almost the end. Okay, this one for your information. You can see, what's this? What is this organelle? Have you guessed? Found in both animal and plant cell, yeah? Yeah, it's mitochondria. Yeah, it's mitochondria. So you see, the name is mitochondria. The function is to do what? Mitochondria, the function is they will do generate energy from cellular LB, respiration by glucose oxidation. Yeah, just like that. Then how about the, yeah, okay, and then, okay, you can go back, try on the question. Okay, so next week we'll continue to discuss. Yeah, I think it's easy for you. Those questions is quite easy. It's very direct answer. No need to think. You just need to know about what what kind of keywords you need to write for the description, and then you can score it. Okay, so that's the class for today. Yeah. And then next week we will continue about chapter 2.2. Yeah, we'll talk about the specialized cell. Special cell means that the cell able to carry out specific function. Today we learn about the cell, a general cell. Okay. Okay, so see you in next class. Have a good rest. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye. I will send you homework later.